Just a couple bad weather fans representing New York, talking all things sports. Man, what could go wrong? We got Alex, who's a fan of the Knicks, and Mike of the Nets. The yin-yang of the tri-state, place your bets on the Yankees, Giants, Mets, or Jets. Yeah, you should listen if it's sparking your interest. If you made a vow to your team, don't break it. Bad weather fans is the relation.
That's right, this Bad Weather Fans, episode number 235. Mike Biseglia, Alex Vanessowitz, and we are presented by DraftKings. NFL in full swing, week 1 in the books. MLB playoffs, Alex doesn't believe, but the Mets, yes, are a real contender. And the Knicks and Nets inch their way closer to the start of preseason basketball. Don't forget, everybody, you can find this podcast on YouTube. Go ahead and subscribe. That's where you can watch the video version of Bad Weather Fans and also see some really cool different video shorts, some behind the scenes looks at Bad Weather Fans, and get all of that inside content. Some great interviews there with Richard Jefferson, Tracy McGrady, Chris Childs, and Mike Buddha. Alex, how are you? Congrats on your Jets not winning.
Oh, thanks. I'm doing great. Yeah. Thumbs up, comment, 5 stars everywhere, download episode, do the whole thing. Jets game was kind of rough. I mean, I was a little more confident probably than I should have. But I feel like the first quarter was more of like what I expected from the Jets, of getting defensive stops, bend but don't break, give up field goals, have a nice drive. Lazard having some drops. I mean, the fumble by Breece Hall is like probably his first fumble ever, I think, or his first lost fumble in his career, in his 3rd year. But still, that's pretty significant. So that's not going to happen often. It's just bad luck. And I think a lot of it also was they didn't play at all in preseason, and they were gassed. And I know the 49ers didn't play much in preseason, if at all. I don't really recall. But they've been together for so long, and they don't need to shake off any rust. They played into the Super Bowl again this year, and they basically only were off a couple months. You know what I mean? And they're basically the same team back. They can just pick it up and go. The Jets needed to play a little bit in the preseason, and I think that was evident in game 1. We'll see what happens in game 2, 3, 4, 5. I mean, they can really just run off a couple of wins right now, and this might just be like, we needed this punch in the mouth, and away we go. But I was pleasantly surprised by Aaron Rodgers. I was not happy with the defense and the run stop, and the time possession was completely out of whack. Aaron Rodgers didn't have enough time on the field. Growing up, I remember the biggest rivalry for the Jets, going to all the games with my dad, seeing tickets, of course, Mike. Dan Marino was the guy back then. And I remember one of the first things I learned about football was, you don't want a quarterback to beat you, keep him off the field, run the ball. And what did the 49ers do? They ran the ball and kept Aaron Rodgers off the field. He didn't have a lot of plays. It was like ridiculous. It was jarring, the time possession. I don't even have it in front of me, but it was almost double the time, that the 49ers had the ball. So it is what it is. I think they force-fed Breece Hall a little too much. They should have went to the kid Allen a little bit and, give him a little break here and there. Is Mike Williams healthy? He barely played. I don't know. If not, sit him down. Was he out there as a decoy? I don't know. I don't think he got any targets. But you know what? Like I said, good punch in the mouth, and let's rock.
Well, we'll get into more Jets and a little Giants as well, but I do want to mention we are presented.
Sorry, I went a little long there.
We are presented by DraftKings, and TD Tutty is taking it to the house. Whatever you call a touchdown, they matter more at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. Ready to place your first NFL bet? Try betting on some simple, like a player to score a touchdown. Who do you like? Who do you think's getting in the end zone? Go for it. We'll give you my Giants pick right here. We'll have our full picks later on in the episode, but my Giants pick here. Giants go into Washington. Giants 1.5 point underdog on the road, and I like them to go in and win the game. I think as putrid as they played, things seem to tend to even themselves out in the NFL. And I think for all the criticism that everybody in New York heard with the Giants, I expect a better game from them. And I think they go into Washington and get the win. Are you ready to do your own touchdown dance of your own? Maybe we'll see Alex do the salsa later for his good buddy, Victor Cruz. We've heard him talk about 702.3 million times.
Ugh.
Giants won that game, by the way. Score big with DraftKings Sportsbook, the #1 place to bet touchdowns. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code BWF. That's code BWF for new customers to get $250 in bonus bets when you bet just $5 and get 1 month of NFL Plus Premium only on DraftKings. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly on behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort, Kansas. 21 plus, age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsibilities, gaming resources, see dkg.co/ftball. NFL Premium offer available only new and former NFL subscribers. Additional NFL Plus Premium terms at NFL.com/terms. And for the Jets, I agree with everything you had said. You definitely were cocky going into the game.
Oh yeah.
I think there was a feeling of invincibility because Aaron Rodgers was back. But clearly, the Jets are going to be better offensively with him. They went and played a team that right now in the season, even without Christian McCaffrey, is a well-oiled machine and is a team that has expectations of Super Bowl or bust. I mean, that's really it for the 49ers. There's anything less than winning a championship is a bad season, but is a disappointing season. But you can see that for the Jets, the makings of what can be a better offensive team. Obviously, their defense was on the field a whole ton. I don't think all of a sudden Sauce Gardner forgot how to play football. I expect him to be better in week number 2. I think that's the week. If they go out and have a bad performance versus the Titans and lose the game, then I think the antennas go up. But right now for the Jets, I mean, their schedule is pretty bad. That's out in front of them. These games are there for the taking for them. And they played a team that was better. There's no doubt about it. The 49ers definitely at this point in time, a better team. I don't want to say ultimately will be better. It's a long NFL season, but if you're going to say right now, it definitely is them. But as you've been referencing on all of these episodes, Jets are a title team. You're just cool and calm, enjoying the ride. So I don't expect you to be upset over one loss in San Francisco. And honestly, be curious. I'm not obviously, I don't root for the Knicks. I think anybody that listens to this podcast knows that.
Don't get the fuck out of here.
I usually root for the Jets to win, but part of me wants them to lose, not because
of me. Yeah.
Not because of you, because I want to see you happy with the Jets. I mean that.
Yeah.
But just to see if you could keep up to your honesty about if they lose 2 or 3 in a row, you won't be bothered. To see the Jets go lose to the Titans in week 2 and you'd be like, I'm in a good mood. Like that I have to see if you can stand by that. That intrigues me.
Well, starting off 0-3 would be very, very difficult to be positive at that point. Right now, 0-1, they showed the flashes in that one drive. I was texting with Lee Valentin and John Malenka. We have a little group chat, Jets group chat. And
who's John?
John, he used to have the Knicks, Jets, etc. podcast.
Okay.
He's on Twitter a lot. He's actually big Jets fan, obviously. And he actually, when Xavier Gibson had the punt return touchdown in game 1 of last year, he got caught on camera in the crowd screaming like, yeah. And they actually used it on Monday night's new opener. And you'll see him all year. I'll point it out to you, Mike. You'll see him all year. Cool. My buddy John. So it's pretty funny. Big Knicks fan. I'm sure that you're happy he's getting his shine. But anyway, so we were all making jokes in our group chat. Like, I needed to change my underwear after that Jets drive. Like, that was like a thing of beauty. Like, I got the chills watching the way that they just, picked apart the 49ers defense and got right down the field in like without any problems. And Garrett Wilson was on the money. Breece Hall was getting runs and making catches out of the backfield. It was like exactly how you drew it up. And then it all fell apart, and first drive of the game, Lazard drops an easy curl over the middle and right in his hands, and it's 4th down and you got to punt, and it's just that hurt. But you know what? They're going to be fine. I really do think so. I think that they were a little gassed. I think that they might have been a little full of themselves. And this might be a good humbling experience for them. And they might reel off the next 5. And I'm not even exaggerating.
I agree with what you're saying about the humbling. I mean, the Jets defense will let you know how good they are.
Yeah.
And then they went up against a team that just didn't really give a shit. And even without their best offensive weapon, and Christian McCaffrey still dominated the line of scrimmage. I mean, if Brandon Ayuk doesn't drop that ball in the first half, I mean, this is even a bigger blowout, but he had that drop pass that turned into, 3 instead of 6, and then the PAT. So, the 49ers were rolling. And like you said, just dominated the ball, ran the ball, and
They even got the doink field goal, off the backboard field goal.
It was just too much for the Jets, and that's why
Yeah.
I think you just take it, you move on, and it's the week, but clearly with Aaron Rodgers, like he's not athletically the same guy. I think watching it, it's pretty obvious that he doesn't move the same way he did in 2019, 2020. It's been surgery and he's older, but obviously he, knowing where the back shoulder fades, throwing it down the field, using his mind as his advantage, staying in the pocket upright. He knows what he's doing and he can lead a drive. And you look at the quarterbacks that they're playing the next couple of weeks. I would fully expect them to just win these football games. But nothing's easy. Tennessee has a good defense, and they go in there on the road. But I would expect for this Jets team, they're prepared and they know what's on the line here, as they have to get a win in Tennessee, and starting 0-2 wouldn't be a death sentence anymore, especially because if there's a 17 games, but with the hype with Aaron Rodgers, they got to go in there and win this game. And I think I would fully expect them to be prepared and ready, and be pretty surprised if they didn't.
Yeah, no, they have to win Sunday in Tennessee, because then you turn around quick and you're home opener on a Thursday night. And I know it's not the Belichick Patriots, but still the Patriots. And that will scare the crap out of me. 0-2 going home. Yeah, and they did. They did. I mean, that might have been catching them off guard spot kind of a deal, like taking them lightly. We'll be fine. These guys suck, kind of deal. That's happened a couple years in the past and ruined everybody's knockout pools and things like that, of some crappy teams winning week 1 and then still being crappy. But end of the day, it's 1 week. I'll be all right. I'll be all right. Like you said, what is it? We got Titans. The Jets got Titans, and then home to the Pats on a Thursday. Then you got the Broncos, Vikings, Bills, Steelers. Like it's and then the Patriots again. So there's a lot of winnable games there. So,
and
that
that Vikings game is in London, right?
It's in London, yeah. So it's not even in Minnesota. So that's good. That's a plus.
Yes. The Giants.
Schooled by Sam Darnold.
Week 1 horror show for them, and we're really, week 1 horror show for them, and where people will really magnify it. And as it's been all week long in the short week so far, we're recording this on a Tuesday, is Daniel Jones. I mean, just being terrible, just being absolutely terrible, and disappointing. I think, he hasn't been that bad in the past. He's not great. He's not good. He's average. He hasn't been that bad. I mean, that was a disaster. And as I said in the read, I can't imagine them being that bad again in week number 2. Just like you had talked about the Jets getting punched in the face. I think for the Giants, it was a little bit of the same. And I would expect them to have a better football performance against a Commanders team that's not very good as well, that got blown out by Tampa Bay. But there were so many signs of just Giants getting no pass rush. They had that early Dexter Lawrence sack. So you're feeling like, okay, here we go. This is going to be that kind of game. Everything we had talked about, all the things Giants had talked about, but then nothing from Thibodeau, nothing from Burns, and Sam Darnold getting completions when he needed, looking poised in the pocket, and and Daniel Jones being the exact opposite, and the Giants getting booed off the field at MetLife. And like an improvement, because it wasn't as bad as the Cowboys week 1 loss. But again, just putting notice to everybody in that Giants organization that, this sucked and it was an embarrassment. But you can't, I'm not going to be one of those fans that's like the season's over. Like, it's 1 week and things can change fast, and you hope that they do. Not good signs that it went that way, but I can't sit here and be like, oh, this season's lost. I mean, fuck, it's just 1 fucking week. I mean, the Mets were 0-5 and people were like, oh, the season's over. You just got to relax a little bit and not say the season's done. But that was a terrible, awful performance from this team. If they don't show anything against Washington in week 2, which I expect them to do, I think they do rebound and play better. If that happens, you could probably see Daniel Jones being set. And I think that would probably be the next step in this organization.
Yeah, the problem is that the worst fears of the Giants fans were all realized in week 1. So the whole summer, everybody's like, the Giants, can't count on Daniel Jones. They're not gonna be able to, the secondary stinks and things like that. And all of that showed. So that's why the Giants fans are like reaffirmed. Like with the Mets, mentioned they started off slow and everybody thought they were gonna suck. And then they start off sucking, and you're like, see, I told you they'd suck. Like, this sucks.
Right.
So that's what's happening. I mean, I do think the Giants are terrible, and I don't think that they're going to be very good this year. I don't think they're going to, lose every game. So we'll see. But it just makes no sense how you do a Hard Knocks and you let them put on because they can approve and disapprove certain things. I'm sure there's things they didn't want to get out on national television, not national, on HBO, that they were trying to trade for a quarterback, and they had enough of Daniel Jones. And then even on the Bears Hard Knocks, they got caught joking about Daniel Jones. And how do you do that? I mean, I understand he's a big boy, he's paid a lot of money, but he's still a person, and if Daniel Jones is not getting his organization literally does not believe in him, and he's been there for a long time, and they're trying to trade him, and then you don't bring in a rookie. I just, what are you doing as an organization? So you're embarrassing your starting quarterback that you paid all this money to, by the way. This GM, Shane, paid all this money to. And then you don't get a rookie. And now you go into the season with this quarterback that you think stinks and fans think stinks. And then he stinks. And now it's like you have no backup plan. Your backup plan is Drew Lock and a guy nicknamed Cutlets. Like, what are we doing?
Well, one, don't feel bad for Daniel Jones because of that. He makes $40 million.
I don't feel bad.
Like, he makes $40 million. And honestly, if I'm Daniel Jones and I see that, I'm motivated. Like, that would motivate me. That would, I mean, that personally would motivate me. If I saw people talking shit about me and knowing that the organization wanted to go in a different direction, that would bother me. That would motivate me. I'm not saying I'm a professional athlete, but put me in any kind of position. Put me in position as production and producer for said this, or as a host for said that. That would fire me up and that would get me going. So I have no issue with that. The second half of it, though, if he is injured or he is not fully recovered, and then that was the route they went, like, all right, fuck it, we'll just have to have him as quarterback. That is a bad decision. I know
mismanagement.
The problem was the cap hit was too scary for them, that they said, we'll bite it for one more year. I mean, you and I were on WFAN and we were talking about when Russell Wilson came to visit the Giants, and that had some legs at the time. He ultimately went over to the Steelers, but that had legs at the time. And that would have been an upgrade. Not that Russell Wilson is a star player anymore, but just how Daniel Jones has fallen off the face of the planet. Now, at the same time, Alex, I don't think anybody expected him to be that bad. That was maybe like the worst he's ever played. So that is the other issue, right?
But they saw him in the preseason. I know it's preseason, but you couldn't put that together. Like, this guy is not right. Like, let's trade for a quarterback.
Well, I don't think who are you trading for at that point. Like, that doesn't matter. I mean,
something. Yeah.
I mean, your backup is your best option there.
I guess you're right. I don't think you're not going to get anybody better than Drew Lock at that point, right? So yeah.
What do you like? Yeah. Oh wow!
But they could have gotten Justin Fields this offseason. Like, he didn't cost anything.
Justin Fields or something. Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
The Steelers quarterbacks. Yes. That would have. It was alarming. I mean,
there's no backup plan.
Because if he's that bad, well, the good news is then but it's weird because then, okay, let's say they're awful all season and they're just dog shit. Then next year, obviously, they're drafting a quarterback. But now you're going into year number 4 with Shane and Dable, and then they finally have the quarterback draft. Now, they've made improvements in theory around the roster. We'll see what happens as the season continues. But now you're going to year 4 and you're drafting the quarterback. It's like, wow, it took us that long to get there. And
now you got to get the quarterback 2 years, 3 years to get it together. And
this is Daniel Jones playing well in that first season, because he had a good first season under Dable, because he had a good year, and then having his best game as a pro in Minnesota, going and beating the Vikings, fucked the organization. And then double fucked was DeVito winning games last year moving the Giants to the 6th pick, where neighbors could turn out to be an all-world wide receiver. But if they're anywhere before that, 2, 3, 4, because they don't win those games, who knows? There's a quarterback here now that could not work, as Jet fans know, with all their first top 3 draft picks at the quarterback position. But at least there's a chance.
Right.
Giants hurt themselves in those 2 places, and now it after that first week, it'd be hard for me to argue against that. It looks like a lost season. You just have to pray that somehow and all fucking in some way, fashion, this guy says, fuck it. I can't let that happen again. And I'm not saying Daniel Jones becomes a Pro Bowler, but he becomes a competent quarterback that can lead the New York Giants.
See, my conspiracy theory is that when they couldn't trade up for quarterback, let me know if you think this is legit. They couldn't trade up for a quarterback. They wanted to turn to DeVito, but they know they couldn't hand DeVito the starting quarterback role in week 1 because they know he needs to be the guy that comes off the bench and save the day in Jeremy Lin style. And so they're just like, you know what? Let's get some nobody back up. Let's give Daniel Jones and let him flop, and then we'll turn to DeVito and we'll get the crowd to go crazy and we'll make some money and we'll still lose and we'll get our draft pick and we'll sell some tickets and go, into next season with a new quarterback.
Not crazy. I actually don't think it's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I do think, though, I mean, I guess you'd have to look at it. It would depend on where Brian Daboll thinks his job security is. Like, if I knew, like, where are you in your job security to know how you want to plan to do things, right? If you're like, hey, we're good, I know you're going to be here for the next couple of years, or this is it, man, you got to win games. Because if this is it, man, you want to win games, you're going to give yourself whatever that best option is, whatever he believes it is. If it's DeVito, if it's Daniel Jones, whatever he might think it is. But if he has job security, he can be a little more risky, because I don't know if that would be my only slight. Like, I think that's kind of far-fetched, because who knows what his future holds. I don't think he can kind of fuck around and play games like that. So probably not, but man, I've heard crazier shit. So,
I mean, listen, he's got to sell tickets somehow.
So.
And, I don't know, because in that second half of the season, if they didn't even have DeVito on the roster and they were just going into it, there would be empty seats. It'd be all away games, He
made it fun. They won games, but again, it screwed them.
Yeah, he did. But you know what? He made them a lot of money too. So it is what it is, So, but Mike, we are sponsored by DraftKings, and TD Tutty, taking it to the house. Whenever you call your touchdown, they matter more on DraftKings Sportsbook. Or your touchdown dance, I guess, matter more at Spanish DraftKings Sportsbook. It's cut off on here. An official sportsbook partner of the NFL. Thank you. Oh, yeah, unofficial. Thanks. Ready to place your first NFL bet? Try betting on something simple, like a player to score a touchdown. Last week, funny enough, I was on DraftKings and I was trying to bet Jets defensive touchdown. And there were great odds. I'm like, wow, this is great. I put $5 to win 150, and I accidentally bet Jets defensive touchdown as the first touchdown of the game. And then I could have cashed out and got 450 back and lost 50 cents. But I was like, you know what? What if they do it now? And of course, they didn't do it. But anyway, so for this week, for my Jets pick, it's Jets minus 3.5, and they're at Tennessee. I'm picking the Jets. I think that they're going to win, and they're going to win by at least 10 points. So that's my pick there. Ready to do a touchdown dance of your own? Maybe the gritty or your own version of the gritty? Score big with DraftKings Sportsbook, the number one place to bet touchdowns. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use promo code BWF for bad weather fans. That's code BWF for new customers to get $250 in bonus bets when you bet just $5 and get 1 month of NFL Plus Premium. Only on DraftKings. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly on behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort, Kansas. 21 plus age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms of responsible gaming resources, use cdkng.co/ftball. NFL Plus Premium offer available only to new and former NFL Plus subscribers. Additional NFL Plus Premium terms at nfl.com/terms. So, Mike, before we get into our picks, we can do a little Knicks Nets. One of our great listeners, James Celestin, sent me a DM and asked me to ask a question on the pod. So we're going to do that. He said, "Hey, Alex, I got a question for you and Mike whenever you do your podcast next. Between the Jets, Knicks, and Yankees, and you can add the Mets too, which one will win a title first in the next 5 years?" Of course, he didn't add the Nets because he knows the Nets are not winning a title in the next 5 years.
Well, I would say that I like the question, but I think you have
Yes.
to add them because in the next 5 years, if it was the next 1 to 2 or 3, but when the next 5,
So let's add all baseball, football, and basketball teams.
Let me say why, James. And I respect your question, but I'll give you an answer. If you were to ask me the same question in 2021 and I said you couldn't include the Knicks, you'd go, okay, fair. The Knicks are in a bad place. Let's say right after they didn't get Zion and the Nets
even 2019, 2020,
and look how fast it changed for the Knicks, where now they're a team that's
in year 5,
and is recognized as one of the top teams in the NBA. So I would say things can change fast. So you would have to include the Nets in there. And this is not me hating on the Knicks or being a Nets homer, but I hope using my example of how fast the Knicks turned it around, that it is a possibility. And like if the Nets win the lottery, they get Cooper Flag. Jimmy Butler wants to come to the whatever. I wouldn't bank on it as my go-to pick, but I'm saying it is an option. With that, I will pick the Mets. Now they're losing right now 5-1 as we record this, and the Braves are up 11-0. But a good chance Mets make the good chance Mets make the playoffs. And if they do, they're 11 wins from the World Series. So just based on that, I would pick the Mets. After that, I think you're tossing between the Knicks and the Jets, and I would just pick the Jets based on the sport.
Not the Yankees? You're overlooking the Yankees.
Sorry, in the Yankees. Yeah, man, my brain just didn't want to.
It's a good question. See, that's why James is guys asked a good
then
question.
I would, you know what? I'll go with the Yankees first. Yes, you're right. It's the Yankees first, just because how they're positioned.
Their lineup is just loaded too.
Well, they get in the playoffs, they're going to have the bye.
Well, their middle of their lineup is loaded, I should say. Yeah.
Yeah, I would go with the Yankees, Mets. Jets, Knicks is a toss up to me, but slight Jets. I don't know the hockey well enough, honestly.
Nah,
the Rangers I know are good. So that would probably be my answer. How about you?
Yankees. I'm going Knicks.
Yankees.
I'm going Knicks. Baseball's hard to win. I do think the Mets have a chance, and I think the Yankees are definitely in it. Clay Holmes stuff kind of scares me with them. But
so you would pick the Knicks to run the playoffs this year as opposed to where the Yankees are right now if you had to pick between the two?
Yeah, because Yankees haven't won a World Series since 2009, and that's their only World Series in the 20-something years, and their closer stinks. That matters in the playoffs. You know what I mean? You need your bullpen. So I know they got other arms and other options and stuff like that, and you can win a game 10-2, sure. But I know, but like, I don't know, man. I just feel like I haven't seen the Yankees do it in so long, and especially with this, team and this kind of core, it hasn't happened.
So you would feel, and now we haven't seen the Knicks team. We don't know how the season would end up, but in this moment right now, you would feel more confident with the Knicks beating the Celtics in a 7-game series than the Yankees beating the Orioles in a 7-game series.
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
I think, because I've seen the Yankees come up small. I know they had the Astros stuff with Aaron Judge and whatever, but they weren't helping them. They weren't cheating when they were pitching the Astros, and they couldn't score any runs in that series. And there's also it's like you always say, it's baseball. Who's gonna get hot in the last? You just look at 15, 17 games left, and who's gonna get hot in the playoffs, and who's gonna get knocked off in the wild card round, and who's all these things. So it's such a toss up, when you get to the playoffs for baseball, especially it's even longer. It's just like flip a coin,
Sorry, I interrupted. I'm sorry. I think that's preposterous for a team that's never gotten out of the second round versus a team that right now has the best record in the AL. I think just looking at it from that.
How many times over the last couple of years have the Yankees had the best record in the American League?
I'm talking about this season. We're talking about what's moving forward, not what's happened in the past.
I'm just saying that the team record doesn't make a difference.
I'm saying the Yankees are going to go into the playoffs with a bye and a chance from that perspective versus a team that has not gotten out of the second round. I can't make that judgment.
You don't have to.
This is not a hating on the Knicks. It's just looking at the
And that
two
I think the Knicks
sports
are going to
and
win the
team.
championship. I'm not saying that lightly. I think that they really are going to win the championship. I really think that there's a real possibility that they can this year, and it's not fake. It's a real possibility. It's not some homer pick. It's not any of this stuff. I really think they can and will do it this year. I really do. I'm 100% confident because they have been growing and going up the mountain, and they've added pieces that fit perfectly in Mikal Bridges. They lost their backup center or starting center, whatever you want to call Hartenstein, and that stinks. But Mitchell Robinson is due health. Jalen Brunson is a superstar. Josh Hart, Dante DiVincenzo, and Deuce McBride make the best bench in the NBA. Like, they have it all there. And Julius Randle is the X factor. If he can come in and play like he did in January, the Knicks can legitimately be a great team. And it's so easy to say now they won't be. Celtics won, I know. But you know what? Porzingis is always hurt. And you know what? If the Knicks played the Celtics in the playoffs this year, I don't know what would have happened. They didn't get a chance because they got hurt.
Do, but
they got hurt. You don't know.
I do. The Yankees are 83-61. They have the best record in the AL. They're going to go, if they go into the playoffs with the best record, I'll take my chances on that over a full Knicks season where you don't know what's going to happen. The Yankees are right there.
But this isn't the 1927 Yankees where they're like 20 games up on everybody in the league. They're 1.5 games up in their division. Like, you know what I mean? They're not that far ahead of the Mets.
But they're 2 weeks away from the playoffs.
I understand that. But like, they're like literally only have like 4 more wins than the Mets. Like, it's not like they're that much better than everybody else in baseball.
Hey, I don't respect your opinion. Everybody always says I respect your opinion. So I'm just going to start going.
I don't respect your opinion.
I'm going to go that angle. Go on an interview with somebody. Go, hey, just want to know. I don't respect your opinion, and I don't like your answer.
That's funny. That reminded me of like a reel or a TikTok that I saw of some guys like, how come on emails professionally do we all talk like in a way that we never talk in real life?
I agree.
As per my last email, can please advise. Like, I never say that to anybody in real life, but that's proper email etiquette. So
hey, Alex, hope you had a great Labor Day weekend.
Hope you are well, Mike. Hope you are well.
It's like, Alex, you know how I'm doing. Shut the fuck up. All right, let's do our picks. So we'll disagree on that. But great question, James. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, James. And last week I went 3-1. Mike went 2-2. I lost on the Jets. Mike, which ones did you lose? You lost on which ones?
I lost on the two New York teams.
Sorry, I put you on the spot.
The two New York teams. And then I won on the Pats. Bengals.
That was big. That was big.
What was the other one? Now I forget. I had it before, but I'm 2-2. I promise.
Whatever. Yeah, it was 2-2. Yeah, no, that Pats one was major for you. That was big time.
I always said there's that one game where everybody's like, it's a guarantee, and then it's like
ruin the knockout pool in week one.
It's always I got it right. All right, you want to go? So we got
should have bet the money line, man, on DraftKings with promo code BWF.
So we have 3 picks left. I gave my Giants. You gave your Jets. I'll do a Jets. You'll do a Giants. Then 2 other games that we want to give.
2 random ones.
You want to? We'll ping pong this back and forth. How does that sound?
Okay, sounds good. So I'll do Giants first.
Go for
Giants.
it.
Giants at Commanders. The Giants are getting 1.5. I'm going Commanders minus 1.5. McCaffrey, the rookie, was getting involved last week. I think he's going to get even better. He's supposed to be like some legitimate, I think it's Christian's brother, and the son of Ed. And I think they're gonna do a lot better. And the Giants, I think, are winning like 2 or 3 games this year, especially if they stick with Daniel Jones. So going Commanders minus 1.5.
Hold on, I have to Google something now.
You don't think that he's really Ed McCaffrey's son?
No. Something else. Hold on. And the daughter of Lisa McCaffrey. Put that in there.
Yes. Okay.
That's what Google said. Ed's wife,
listen.
Lisa. Shout out to the McCaffreys
For his first name. I was also just said McCaffrey. But let me find. Hold on. Luke McCaffrey. There you go. That's it.
Jets. You only get that here. Jets, Titans. Jets favored by 3.5 in Tennessee. I like the Jets to win the game, but I will pick the Titans to cover. I think this is a field goal game. I like this to go 27-24, 24-21. I think the Jets squeak it out and get that first win that helps them gain momentum and then start building on wins. But I think getting that first one on the road in Tennessee, tough place. I like the Jets. Excuse me. I like the Jets to win, but the Titans to cover. So that's what I'm taking for my Jets pick.
All right, that's good. I respect that. Now my pick is I respect it. Bengals at Chiefs. I didn't even do that on purpose. That just came out. Bengals at Chiefs. The Bengals are getting 6 points on the road in Kansas City. I'm taking the Bengals with the 6 points. I think they bounce back, and I think they at least keep it close. Remember, this is a place where they used to call it Burrowhead because he used to own the Chiefs. And, they lost the Pats at home. It was a nice smack in the mouth, place, kind of like the Jets in week 1, but a little differently because it was at home to maybe one of the worst rosters in the entire NFL and the Patriots. And, I think they at least cover the spread. So Bengals +6.
Steelers going into Denver. Steelers are 2.5-point favorites. The Steelers last week winners because of their defense. They scored, I think, kicked 6 field goals. So they could move the ball a little bit, but couldn't get in the red zone, and their defense was just absolutely dominant versus Kirk Cousins and the Falcons. And I think that defense goes on the road versus a Broncos team that will have trouble scoring. So for me, I think the Steelers win this game, something like a 13-7, 16-10, but they definitely cover because of that defense. They win the game and they do it by more than 2.5 points. I like the Steelers D to travel to Denver and get the W there.
It's a good pick. That's a good pick. And I think it's
Convincing.
Warren Sharp, the NFL guy. Warren Sharp, he has the mustache. I don't know if you know who he is.
Okay.
I always think it says Warren Sapp, but it's Warren Sharp. He showed Justin Fields' passing chart, and he was like it was nothing in the middle of the field, and he drew like a box. He's like, his Justin Fields' passing chart looks like the worst pitcher in Major League Baseball history. Like, nothing in the middle of the field. But anyway. So my last pick, Browns at Jaguars. I'm going the Jags -3 here. The Browns are a mess. Deshaun Watson is under fire again, and maybe one of the worst trades in the history of the entire NFL. And that's not a hyperbole. That might best the Herschel Walker trade, with the Vikings and the Cowboys back in the day. And, the Jaguars lost on a game-winning field goal to the Dolphins, who are a really good team, and they had them. It was one of those days where the Dolphins just had every answer. And, so I'm going Jags -3.
My final pick is Texans 6.5-point favorites at home versus the Chicago Bears. Didn't love what I saw from Caleb Williams in week 1. So now let's take him, go on the road versus a Texas team that can move the ball and score with offensive weapons all over the field. I like the Texans to win. I like them to win big versus a Bears team on the road. This is a Sunday night game as well. Big spot. That scares me all the way with a rookie quarterback. So give me the Texans 6.5.
All right, that's our picks. So I got Jets -3.5, Commanders -1.5, Bengals +6, and Jags -3.
Take the Titans +3.5, although I do like the Jets winning. Giants going into Washington and winning the game, even though they're 1.5-point underdogs on that. Steelers 2.5-point favorites on the road versus Denver, and give me the Texans to cover at home 6.5 versus the Chicago Bears.
All righty. So I'm 3-1. You're 2-2. Let's see what we are next week, and away we go.
Bad Weather Fans, episode number 235, presented by DraftKings, as I referenced at the top of the show. Check us out on YouTube. Go ahead and subscribe. We appreciate all the love and support. We've had some amazing interviews on this show. As we continue, we gear up for NBA season. It's going to be a lot of fun. Thank you, James, for that question. That was a good one. Sparked a nice conversation that we had here on the show as well.
A non-respectful conversation. If
you're listening on Apple, 5 stars, leave a review. This has been Bad Weather Fans, episode number 235. Alex, good shit as always. We're presented by DraftKings, and we'll talk to you later. All right.
All right. Have a good one, Mike. Thank you.
You're welcome.